They laughed at the stranger in the biker bar until John Jones revealed himself. The heavy door of the biker bar slammed shut behind John Jones, muffling the roar of motorcycles outside. The air inside was thick with smoke and tension. Eyes turned toward the newcomer, sizing him up like a challenge. John moved slowly, calm but alert, every step measured. No one knew who he was yet, just a lone figure stepping into their territory. The room felt charged, a quiet storm before the chaos. Why had he come here? What was he looking for? Whispers passed from table to table, suspicion rising with every heartbeat. John's jaw tightened as old memories flickered behind his eyes. Battles fought, losses endured. But this was different. This fight wasn't just about strength or skill. It was personal. The bikers didn't know what was coming, and John was ready to change everything. In this room full of hardened faces, one question hung in the air. Who is this man, and what will happen when they find out? John Jones had always lived on the edge. Born into a rough neighborhood, his early years were marked by fights, losses, and hard lessons. Fighting was more than a sport to him. It was survival. Every punch thrown, every battle won or lost, shaped the man he became. Fame followed his skill, but it didn't erase the scars beneath the surface. He carried a weight few could see, regrets from the past, people he'd lost and mistakes that haunted him. The biker bar wasn't unfamiliar territory. Years ago it had been a place he avoided, a place tied to painful memories and old enemies. But tonight was different. Something pulled him back, something unresolved. The scent of gasoline and leather mixed with stale beer hit his nostrils as he pushed through the door. He felt the eyes on him, some curious, others hostile. John didn't flinch. He kept his mind sharp, scanning every corner, every shadow. Inside, the noise was a low growl, laughter, clinking glasses, the rough hum of conversation. The air was thick, heavy with unspoken threats. John remembered the last time he'd been here, how a small mistake had nearly cost him everything. That night still lingered in his mind, a warning he couldn't ignore. His thoughts flicked to why he had returned. This wasn't just a random visit. He was here for answers. People he trusted had been betrayed, and the lines between friend and foe had blurred. John knew the stakes were high. The biker gang running this place was more dangerous than anyone imagined. They had secrets, and John was about to uncover them. As he took a seat at the bar, a quiet tension settled over him. He could feel it beneath the surface, the weight of what was coming. He wasn't just fighting for himself anymore. There were others depending on him, lives tangled in a web of loyalty and betrayal. The past and present collided in this moment, and John had to face the darkness head-on. The first spark was about to ignite. The real battle was just beginning. John sat quietly, eyes scanning the room. The bikers around him laughed loudly, unaware of the storm brewing just beneath the surface. Then a man at a nearby table caught John's gaze, someone from his past, someone he never expected to see again. The man's smirk was cold, filled with old grudges and secrets John thought were buried. John's heartbeat quickened. This was no chance meeting. The man was part of the gang that had betrayed John years ago, the same group that had torn apart his life and those he cared about. Memories flashed, broken promises, threats, and a night that changed everything. Suddenly the atmosphere shifted. A harsh voice cut through the noise, accusing John of coming back to stir trouble. A few bikers stood, their faces hardening, hands moving toward weapons. John remained calm but knew this was the moment he had feared. But then an unexpected voice spoke up, a woman fierce and determined, stepping forward to defend John. She was someone who had once been close to the gang, now caught between loyalty and truth. Her revelation stunned everyone. She exposed a secret plan within the gang that threatened not just John but many innocent lives. Tension exploded. The gang fractured as whispers of betrayal spread like wildfire. John's old enemies were now turning on each other, but the danger wasn't over. John realized the woman's loyalty came at a price. She was risking everything, including her own safety, to help him. As the night deepened, John faced a new challenge. The gang had sent out a warning, a hit meant to silence him permanently. He was no longer just fighting for himself. He was fighting for survival, for justice, and for the fragile trust being rebuilt. The weight of the past pressed down on John. He wrestled with anger and doubt. Could he trust the woman? Could he trust himself to walk through this darkness without falling? Every moment felt charged with danger and uncertainty. The biker bar was no longer just a place. It was a battlefield where loyalties shifted, secrets exploded, and John's every move could change everything. The real fight wasn't just physical. It was a fight to reclaim his life, to protect those who believed in him, and to face a future that had once seemed impossible. With each passing minute, John's resolve hardened. He would not back down. Not now. Not ever. The air thickened as John stepped outside the bar. The night was cold, but his blood burned hotter than ever. Behind him, the gang's engines roared, coming for him. The woman's warning echoed in his mind. They wanted to end this tonight. John's heart pounded, not from fear but from a storm of memories. Faces flashed before him, friends lost, betrayals suffered, promises broken. This wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about reclaiming his dignity, protecting those who stood with him, and finally confronting the darkness that haunted him. A figure emerged from the shadows, a biker with a cruel grin, holding a chain. John recognized him. Instantly, the man who had been his closest ally turned enemy. The betrayal still stung deeper than any wound. The man taunted John, daring him to fight, to prove who deserved respect. John's eyes locked on his old friend. This was more than a battle. It was a reckoning. The crowd closed in, voices rising, the tension unbearable. Every breath felt heavy, every second stretching like a lifetime. Then the unexpected. The woman stepped forward, standing between John and the biker. She raised her voice, revealing a secret no one had known, a plan the gang had been hiding, a betrayal that ran deeper than anyone imagined. The crowd gasped. The biker's grin faltered. Doubt flickered in his eyes. In that split second, John saw his chance, not just to fight, but to change everything. He dropped his guard and spoke words that stunned the crowd. He offered a choice, violence or truth, destruction or a new path. The biker hesitated, torn between loyalty and fear. The silence broke with a sudden roar. Engines, revving, fists clenched. But John's words had planted a seed, and the gang's unity began to crumble. Brothers turned on each other. Alliances shattered. John stood tall, battered but unbroken. The fight was far from over, but for the first time he held the power to rewrite his story. Under the cold moonlight, a new chapter began. The night settled into uneasy quiet. Broken engines and scattered helmets lay like fallen soldiers on the cold asphalt. John stood alone, his breath steady despite the chaos around him. The bikers had dispersed, some broken in more ways than one. He looked at the horizon, the faint glow of dawn pushing back the darkness. The fight had ended, but the scars ran deeper than any bruise. Trust was shattered, loyalty tested. John wondered if peace was ever truly possible in a world built on violence and secrets. A soft breeze stirred, carrying memories of the past and whispers of what might come next. The woman's face flickered in his mind. Her courage, her truth had shifted everything. For a moment, hope felt real. John reached into his pocket, fingers closing around a small, worn token, a reminder of who he once was and who he still could become. He clenched it tightly, a silent promise to keep fighting, not just with fists, but with heart. As the sun rose, John took a step forward. The road ahead was uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, it felt like his own. Sometimes, the hardest battles are fought after the fight is over.